One more for the road in 2025. And there could be no better way to be here live in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters with a new champion who's the same champion. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about what's been going on in places like EPW, TPW. It's promo award season. We got to talk about that. After all, yours truly is in that Hall of Fame for those promo awards. We're going to talk about also where has this man been the last few weeks. We're also going to talk about maybe some usual suspects. We're going to talk about some different things. We're going to talk about who knows whatever else, because this very well possibly could be the last time live in 2025 on Sportswire Radio where you get your chance to say what's on your mind. And not only that, I'm going to have a major announcement for somebody that you probably saw on social media that's going to be kicking things off here in 2026. Boy, to quote our guest a little while ago, Ali Jafari, of course, the man behind the Shadow Modulus Project, and we're departing 2025, but we're going out with a bang because 2026, let's just say, it's going to have a little bit of print of darkness, maybe. But before that, we must give that introduction here, because I haven't got a chance to do it actually the last couple of times here in Sports by Radio. So I'm going to do that here with a man that certainly needs no further introduction, but we're going to give it to him. You've seen him on IDMB. You've seen him as a YouTube vlogger. You've seen him as a martial arts champion, and now you're going to see him on your screen. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's start this show off here in style one more time. 2025 on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station, the only platform where all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. So with that, wait for it. Further ado here on the Sports Report, number one cable sports show. A man that has an IDMB profile. A man that is a YouTube vlogger, Instagram influencer. And he's the man that is the reigning, now defending TPW United Nations champion. And a man that's also up for not one, but 2 awards this year for the Promo Wrestling Awards. His name is, simply put, the God of Combat, the Chancellor, Ajay, the champ is here, my friend. How are we doing? You unmute your mic. I know you've done this before. Let's go.
It's been a long week, but everything is going very, very well. So
fantastic. That's great to hear. Yep, Happy New Year. This is pretty much the last show of the year. Usually I do a New Year's Eve show when we get all of Backyard, Underground, and promo wrestling on a screen. Did it the last 2 years, but unfortunately, depending on how you see it, I do news one day a week on a Wednesday night. And my co-host Heshi Tischler, who's been trying for it seems like forever to be a politician, wants to do a show live. And we actually have an assemblyman on Long Island, Ari Brown, that's going to come on the show. So the show must go on, and that's why I'm not going to be here live tomorrow night for New Year's Eve. But we have a big show. In fact, 2 big shows that had come up on New Year's Day. But I'll get to that later, because the Don of Combat, the Chancellor, Ajay Harrison, for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you, TPW, EPW, amongst many others, have helped build, Sportswire Radio, talk about how you're the new champion, but rather yet the same one.
Yeah, so, I was sitting here the past couple weeks, and it was actually Rocky who, the last time I was on Sportswire, called me a politician.
Yeah, I did hear that, yes.
And I got to thinking, as the chancellor rather than a politician, I thought, there might be something onto that. So I kind of put it in the back of my mind, and I sat on it for a little bit, and then Maxwell Mangione in the locker room called me a politician. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to settle for just the United States. I need to take over the world. So why not go with the United Nations? And after several days of, countless hours of just, meetings and things like that.
Sure.
This nights, documents, all that stuff. I was able to get it through, and Rocky signed off on it, and it is now the United Nations Championship in TPW.
That's interesting, because, I think you and I were talking about this before we went on, and I'm thinking about this in all the years I've covered wrestling. I'm now going to be doing it for 5 years, almost to the day. It's actually almost 5 years to the day. I had on a guy, Chad Parham, who famously wrestled Jeff Hardy on an episode of Impact Wrestling. It's
nice.
pretty much 5 years to the day. And I don't think I've heard of anybody that's a United Nations champion in wrestling. So I suppose that this would be a first. You have a first here, the United Nations champion. I try to rack my brain, and I've had so many wrestlers of all backgrounds, promo, backyard, underground, independent, the pros, and the WWE, and I don't think I've heard of a United Nations champion, unless somebody can correct me.
Yeah, it was something different, something unique, and I thought, you know what? There's always room for a first. So why not go out with it? And I did.
Yeah, and somebody and myself that has worked on political campaigns since 2007. I can certainly appreciate that. Since I'm a kid, I've worked on political campaigns, and you are certainly trying to bring people together. So you've got the United Nations Championship, and it's gonna, I hope for your sake, give you a bigger boost, especially with the likes of a Devin Adams and anyone else that may want to take that championship. Well, what's your thoughts on how you're going to keep this title now?
Well, my current challenger is Devin. He went through a 7-man.
Oh, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. He went through a lot to get to that, and he talked a few months ago about what he wanted, which was more championship gold, and you're standing in his way.
Yeah, and it's I'm his roadblock, so he's gonna have to find that alternate route to go for a different championship, because this one it's just not for him. Unfortunately, it's gonna be one of those things where come bell time, I'm coming to collect the rent from the stoop that he sits on, and when I beat him, it's game over. He's gonna realize that I'm just the one that he cannot beat.
Well, I mean, he is a guy that has certainly cut his teeth in this world, and he is one of those guys that people look to, like in AJ Storm, and he talked about famously the farewell tour, and that's pretty much being scrapped. You've talked about your feelings on him, so I mean, you're gonna get what you want here real soon.
Yeah, it's when Devin talks about a farewell tour, it's really nothing because he's retired how many times now? So
Well, who did I said it? It was somewhere I read on Facebook, and somebody said now all of a sudden it's become vogue now since John Cena did it. Everybody's on a farewell tour. I mean, look, what can I say?
It's one of those things. I take a farewell tour or a retirement with a grain of salt until I actually see them stay away.
Well, I mean, right now, Devin Adams is one of those guys, and you have this United Nations Championship. You've had it for 2 months.
Yep.
And I hope that you'll keep it. And I got to ask you because I had just had on Ali Jafari, of course, the man behind the Shadow Modulus Project. I worked with David Bottrell, produced Tool's big albums, and we were kind of having fun with this. And I have to ask you because technically you are my last live show of 2025. So I have to, speaking of things in vogue all of a sudden for the next few weeks, you have any New Year's resolutions for 2026?
Not really. I don't necessarily believe in resolutions. It's what is really a resolution? You set yourself up for goals that for the most part they don't go fulfilled. So I think of the short term and I just kind of see what the new year brings. To really plan out a year like that, that's not really my forte. So
yeah, we were talking about this with Ali, and he kind of was like, "I don't do any." And then we'll talk about the guest later, who had a kind of an even funnier reaction, who's here to kick off New Year's 2026. And I'll even tell you a funny stat before we come back to promo wrestling that they say the average New Year's resolution is people go through it for about 2.5 weeks and they give up. So I asked this question a lot when I was doing British wrestling more, and I would go through that. I never forget. We were going through it. And then the stat somebody told me when I was on Facebook Live doing it originally, and it was like 2.5 weeks, if that. So then after that, people give up and they go, I can't do it. It's a whole year. And the odds were, although I will tell you years ago, this was like, I don't even know, maybe 25 years ago, maybe even longer. My godfather at the time, his New Year's resolution was he was going to quit smoking. And he did. He actually did it. He was one of the few people that's why I asked and was really curious on your thoughts, because he was one of the few people. Now I think about it, just decided one year, was going into, I think, 1998, just said, you know what? I gave it up, and he did. And to his credit, he did that. But we're here not to talk about New Year's resolutions, but I want to talk about what is going on in EPW, because, when Dario Divine was here last on Sportswire, we had talked about that name change. And, well, we saw that name change, and a lot has happened in the world of EPW. And I was wondering what your thoughts are on some of that these days.
I'll let Dario have his fun with it, but we have a 6-man tag coming up.
Yep, I'm putting that up in a minute.
Unfortunately, it's one of those things that I had to step back from and couldn't participate in. Just getting sick and everything. So
yeah, everybody seems to be sick right now. I am on pins and needles trying not to get sick. I just saw my brother about 20 minutes before we went on the air, and I saw he was sick. I was sick in November, so I'm praying that that's gonna let me live for that. And I saw a lot of other people I noticed are sick right now. So let's pray you're getting over this.
Oh yeah, it's the worst is definitely over. But I have assembled my team. I got Ace Atlas, who came into EPW as a favor to me.
Mm-hmm.
Was able to call him out of retirement. And then I have Maximo Mangione, who graciously decided to step up for EPW, as well as Texas Red, who they have to step in my place for me. And I am very comfortable that those men will get the job done, and EPW will be back in my hands. It's one of those things. If Dario wants to keep going on this false narrative that he's in control, I'll let him play owner for now. But we both know in the contract, the person who gets pinned is the one that loses their sacrifice. I didn't get pinned.
You've been going on about this, but I guess then you mean to tell me that Dario's days eventually will be numbered. You're telling me that the Enterprise, their days will eventually be numbered.
It's funny you mentioned that, because there's a cosmic shift coming. and I've said this for months. For months, ever since my first departure from TPW, my first.
Yeah, we talked about that in a previous episode. Yep, I got that.
I mentioned about the bigger picture, and everything is shaping up. Still working on the details, but everything is aligning just right. And when that cosmic shift happens, it's going to make people literally sick with what I have planned. I am the greatest artist. I mean, head above shoulders, or a head and shoulders above Picasso, above Michael.
Wow. Okay. You've said a lot. The last, was it 2 months or so since you've been coming on Sportzwire? You've been here, I don't know, between cameos and solos. This is your third solo appearance. You've been here a few other times, and you've said a lot. You've said a lot in your several appearances here. But now we're saying we're better than Picasso. So you must be drawing up some play, not to steal a reference thrown at Friday's guest, Cease and Desist, the Hype Man Dan Lasers, and the Rare Bird Chris Phoenix. But you are such an artist that even Picasso can draw up what you're going to give us here coming up.
Absolutely. And Tom, if you know me, I have everything that I have said, I have been right about. So, with that being said, I want to kind of rewind back to what you said about New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, New Year's resolutions. Yes.
And again, the idea crossed my mind on a past episode of Sportswire when you had, who was it? It was
we had a lot of people on Sportswire. Come on.
Yeah, BCW was Tsunami.
Oh, Maxwell Reeves. Maxwell Reeves was here in your chair last week. I mean, that was quite an episode.
That. I was sad that I missed that. However, I had made a point because they're pretty much my neighbor.
It's funny you said that. You and I were talking about that. You and the guys are practically in arms throw away from each other.
Yeah, and because of that, I have decided to make it my mission to show up in BCW at some point. I was able to talk to Tsunami. I talked to Caden. We were able to. The answer that I got was they're going to talk it over and they'll be in touch. So it sounds like there's business to be made, and it sounds like. You'll be seeing me in BCW hopefully very shortly.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Now wait a minute. I want to rewind. Let's rewind, because I understand that you referenced BCW. I understand that you referenced some names that have been on here. Tsunami, Caden Gallows. In fact, they were here right before the historic Christmas Chaos 3. Everybody's been talking about what happened there. They were here. You were around. Then we had Maxwell Reeves in your chair. He was here last week.
Yep.
And you mean to tell me that you're going to be showing up to BCW, one of the premier companies around, not just in backyard wrestling, underground wrestling, independent wrestling, all of wrestling. You mean to say that you're going to be showing up there?
Well, excuse me a minute, Tom. With the words that were exchanged, it sounds promising. So
promising.
Yep, it sounds like BCW. Obviously, they got to get together and they got to do their talking. But if they know good business, and I'm pretty sure they do, They
absolutely do. I mean, they're a company that has gone and grown. I mean, you're talking about a company that has 2,100 plus subscribers. Even from last week, they gained something like 50 subscribers alone since their last appearance on Sportswire. I mean, they're a company they're a massive company.
And it's one of those things, Tom, that I know the following that I can bring, and the eyes that I can bring to BCW, and I want to do that as a favor to them. So, I mean, come on, it's easy business, Tom. Look,
I mean, ultimately, you know me, I'm all wrestling matters, so I'd love to see everybody out there. And it's funny that you had talked about BCW because I had on a guy, Aaron Blaze, another guy in Pennsylvania, in your state, with YBW. And he was talking about Maxwell Reeves and BCW. And there was a huge back and forth last week in the chat between the YBW guys. The Hitmarker, ATK, and Maxwell Reeves had an infamous or a famous back and forth here in the chat. Aaron Blaze said a few things about Maxwell Reeves. I mean, he went off. He's the headliner for a reason, 8-time Trailblazer, and he said plenty about that. But now you've come on here to Sportswire, a fellow Pennsylvania resident, also having plenty to say about BCW and your potential there.
Yeah, it's Tom, I am driven by accolades, championships, the notoriety, so to speak. So I thought, BCW Gold sounds pretty good to me. So why not show up there, do some business and maybe, if the cards fall right, collect a championship or two in BCW.
Whoa! And you're talking about now with the landscape, and that's an interesting point you made because we know the situation with Caden Gallows. We know that he's a wounded man right now as the BCW champion. He's hanging on to that, but who knows for how long. Then you've got the situation with the Hardcore Championship there in BCW, and the whole situation with Ace Swagger. Then you've got Tommy Good, who's trying to pick up the pieces here. I mean, you've got a lot right now. Maxwell was here on Sportswire, and he kind of admitted that he's not going to be able to go and go back and win the World Championship that he famously held last year and into this year. So right now, it's kind of unknown who maybe will challenge for some of these championships. And maybe if you get an opportunity, who knows? Maybe you would have a shot down the road for championship gold. But it would be great to see you in BCW. And I know obviously a guy that you had some history with on this platform, Killshot, Mr. Bang Bang, has made that transition into wrestling. And our friends in the EWA, they're here Saturday. And we know we've also seen other guys, Tommy Titus and OPW has talked about making the transition also in the EWA. And then there's obviously that guy who was once upon a time around in promo wrestling named Comatose. And, so we've seen this time and time again. Guys go back and forth. Dante Okara, you might have remembered him in TPW. He was a British wrestling. He was actually an independent champion. I always tell the story. Dante Okara, I knew long before guys in the promo wrestling world knew him. He was an independent wrestler in the UK, and he would come on my platform. There's a lot of different crossovers, and I know that there's a surprise you have coming up, and we'll get to that surprise in a few minutes, but I got to bring it up because you're up for some awards here in this year's Promo Wrestling Awards. We got to talk about them. First WTF moment of the year. I mean, well, WTF us.
Well, it's it's the match itself that I won the United States title, or I'm sorry, the United Nations Championship.
Yeah, yes. You're getting used to it. I understand. You're getting used to it.
I don't even think that has ever been heard of, a debate match. So
no.
Again, the one-of-a-kind type match, and to have people look at that and be like, WTF, and to have, or to be nominated for that award, really, that means a lot. And it goes into the next award that I'm also nominated for, which is Gimmick of the Year.
Yes.
Again, it's something that, to play into my real life background, is something that's like to have that notoriety and to be recognized for. It does mean a lot. Rocky sees a lot of potential, especially with a gimmick that can be controversial, to say the least.
Well, we've seen a lot of controversial guys on this platform. There's the controversy King Wyatt Black. There's Kato, the controversial one. And then there's a guy named Anthony Steele, who was once upon a time considered to be the most controversial figure in wrestling history, but he's a lot more humble these days and tame. So I've seen plenty of controversial figures just with that name alone, not even mentioning others. So, Rocky kind of is giving you maybe a pass.
Well, and again, it says a lot about his character, and just the type of person that he is, and my background besides, the political background,
Yep.
the cops, that is something that's been just ingrained in me. So, my family is, again, my brother is Golden Gloves champion
Yep.
right now. So, shout out to my brother Cameron for that.
Yes, your brother's here, and we want to say hello to your brother. There you go. Congratulations, champ. And the champ is always welcome to talk about his time as the Golden Gloves champion, because I'm all sports matters. So the door is always open there with that.
But no, it's just one of those things that, hard work really does pay off. And
absolutely.
It doesn't matter what type of background you're in. Again, I stay hungry. I'm never satisfied, and until I ever, and I don't think I'll ever get to that point, but, until I get to that point of, okay, I've accomplished enough, I'm good now, I don't see myself slowing down anytime soon. Thus the reason to travel to BCW, because again, there's always more gold to capture. There's always more accomplishments. Look at,
I did see that, by the way. I did see that, and I certainly was admiring that. And I do have something I'm going to put up on the screen here in a few minutes, and I think it's time. Actually, I'm going to do it now, because I see Zilla's in the house. Zilla says hi, and hit the sub button for AJ. And after this, I want to see something else that you touched upon. So we'll do that in a minute. But let me share my screen. Let me give it to you. You are the last guest, the last live guest of 2025, because like I said, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. You'll probably get some content on my YouTube channel, but for tomorrow, it is your day on all Sportswire radio platforms. I know you got some of these before, but congratulations. I technically can't give it to you for the 30th because I just gave it to the Shadow Modulus, but I can give you this for tomorrow. So I'm sure you'll accept it. I'm sure you'll take it.
Of course, Tom. That's 2 days now for me. And to have the last day of the year, what better way to go out? So
I know a lot of people are disappointed on Sportswire, because I had a lot of people message me because they really enjoyed the last couple of New Year's Eves on here, but that's kind of the way it works, and
can't please everybody, Tom.
No, that's not. But speaking of people that I'm sure that would like to remind you of their existence, the man who you mentioned a few minutes ago, you knew he would be here, the one and only Dario Divine. I'm sure we'll talk about him in a few minutes. And if you are here, hit the sub button for AJ Harrison. And I do want to make the announcement here before I get to your surprise, is that New Year's Day, you may be the last live guest of 2025, but the first live guest, or the first guest of 2026, New Year's Day, 7 o'clock Eastern time, in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform you're on right now, and in your chair, the Dawn of Combat, the Chancellor, Ajay Harrison, is a guy that once upon a time sat on the throne as the guitar player for the Prince of Darkness, God rest his soul, Mr. Ozzy Osbourne, the one and only Gus G. That's right, Gus G. You are the last guest of 25. He's the first guest of 2026, and Gus G will be here on Sportswire Radio, 7 o'clock New Year's Day. So we'll ring the new year with Mr. Gus G. He's got a lot to talk about, and we're very honored. I want to thank everybody for their support and getting us to that moment. And there we are. Yeah, it's a great opportunity. We're really excited about that, and we're all looking forward to the future. And thank you, everybody, for that. And I understand, AJ, you have a surprise for us. And
absolutely.
I was wondering if maybe you wanted to give us the opportunity to share our screen, or whatever it may be that you have, that I can see what you can see. It was a famous lyric from Heavy D line, and we can't have Heavy D on Sportswire. He's dead, but nevertheless, I'm sure. Yeah, even you kind of laughed. That was funny. Although, and imagine being bald. So obviously, somebody likes to tell you, imagine being bald. So maybe you know who this is because you're bald, apparently. Well, you got some hair. Actually, you have a little more hair now since your last appearance on here. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like I said, it was one of
I
those
see.
things that getting
Yeah.
sick took a lot out of me, and I just haven't gotten to cut my hair yet. Definitely way overdue.
That's okay. No, maybe you want to grow your hair. Maybe you want to do that. I mean, maybe that's what you would hope for. I mean, I think. Listen, maybe who knows?
Tom, look, I mean, it's just it doesn't look that great.
Listen, I'm not one to talk about looks. I mean, I am certainly not one to talk about looks. But I tell you what,
What are you talking
I
about, Tom? You
will.
got great mutton chops.
Well, I appreciate you very much, and obviously, we have a surprise here that we're going to get to here in a couple of minutes, and I think I know who this surprise is. As a matter of fact, I'm going to remind you that I actually guessed it correctly, just saying. So I do want to remind you of that. So you tried to surprise me. My first thought was Chubby Dudley, but I'm like, no, I spoke to Chubby Dudley. He's not coming on tonight.
The way you worded it, though, Tom, the way you worded it, I was like, okay, maybe he's still not expecting this person, but
no, I expected it because we have a certain individual's date the expiration date ended for a certain thing. We'll certainly get to that, and I'm sure people will be, I'm sure, looking forward to seeing this man on the screen shortly.
Absolutely.
And Dario wants to say that you look awful right now. Dario says you look awful.
Yeah, Dario's gonna have his shots.
Dario's going to be back on Sportswire in January. I would love to see Dario back. I'm sure we're going to have a lot more Dario
here. There.
You will be there, and I'm sure our guest will be there, and I'm sure some others. Tommy J is another name we'll get on the horn. We were going to have Jaheel Firebolt on, but he'll come back another day because he was actually, that was going to be my surprise to you, but he canceled. Yeah,
it's as the mascot of the most famous baby food.
You said that, not me. You said that, not me. I am going to be diplomatic because Jaheel's an up and comer, and he's one of those most improved wrestlers. But speaking of people that I am sure are going to be most improved, and you're going to certainly have a big problem seeing him on this screen, I'm going to share it because for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, he's back. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He's back.
I'm back.
How are you doing, Comatose?
Oh, I am doing absolutely wonderful, AJ, and it is wonderful to see you, Tom. It is wonderful to finally make my face public once again in this wrestling realm. And oh boy, am I hungry.
I mean, if I have a food on the side, I can send it to you if you want. I mean,
I don't need any more food. I just
I forgot you probably kill like a whole town for food. I forgot. Good
oh yeah. See, what I'm hungry for is I'm hungry for the competition that has come here in TPW. I am hungry for next season of BTW. I am hungry for more big moments here on Sportswire Radio, and I am hungry to take back everything that I ever lost.
I'm glad you said that because the last we remember was the whole thing with the TPW Change of Fortune Championship, the Tag Team Championships, and a lot has changed these last, 20-something days since you last were here on Sports, right? You had one appearance at the end for the recap BTW's November to Remember, and that was a few weeks ago, and a lot has changed here in not only EPW, but TPW.
A lot has changed. And the reason that I don't have the Change of Fortune Championship anymore, I don't know if anyone has told you, Tom, but
yes.
It is because... Oh, they have?
Yes.
Oh, they have. Okay, well, I just want to let Maxwell Mangione know that I'm very glad that you kept my belt shiny, because I know a man like you gets his hands dirty, and I don't like my property dirty at all whatsoever.
Ooh, well, that's an understandable point. That is a very, very understandable point, and I don't blame you. And I know that the way you see things right now in the landscape of TPW and EPW, I mean, EPW, you must be happy with Dario running things. I mean, AJ was certainly, airing his grievances about that. That at least has to make you happy. Jerry's been back in rare form, and in the EPW land, you must be chomping at the bits.
I am definitely chomping at the bits. I am chomping at the bits to continue my reign in EPW as the undisputed king of promo wrestling. And I'm planning on branching that certain nickname out to TPW and any other federation that I have my hands in the pocket of, which would be the likes of, oh, I don't know, OPW? Probably something you never thought would come out of my mouth.
No,
Oh,
OPW. I thought that was like the forbidden door. That was just, don't mention that, OPW.
it was almost like it was, but I guess I just had to walk through that forbidden door just to show those boys exactly what the best of all time looks like.
And it's Tommy
In
Titus's
real
birthday.
time.
I hope you're giving him a happy birthday wish with this rather than something else. I mean, but this was, it's funny you say these things because yesterday was the birthday of Anthony Steele. Got to give him a happy birthday wish. It was his birthday yesterday. We weren't here live yesterday. It was his birthday, and today it's Tommy Titus's birthday. So I mean, boy, you're coming in here like a lion. You're literally coming in here like a lion in 2026.
Oh, it's a brand new Comatose coming
Brand
into
new.
2026. I have so many things that I have been rattling around in my mind that I have been thinking about for this past well over a month. You see, when you have time on top of the mountain to sit in charge, you then get to come down from said mountain and go Super Saiyan on anyone that has ever doubted you. And I am planning on just doing that exactly. I am planning on making my face the face of any company that I walk in, which would be the likes of TPW, EPW, OPW, and my return to IGPW.
And you were
I
mentioning promo
am
awards
back.
today in the last 2 days. You've been mentioned in many of those awards, and I'm sure that is something you have a thought on potentially winning some awards here.
Oh, definitely. More something, more like another Hall of Fame, maybe, maybe just to stick it in the side of a certain person that, doesn't think I deserve any Hall of Fames or doesn't think I should get more than him. I won't speak that name. I won't walk through that forbidden door because that one's very well known. Like we were saying, Tom, it's 2026 coming up here in a couple days, and it's going to be a brand new me with new grievances.
Now, I want to ask you, because I think this is an obvious question for me to ask, but I do want to say hello to Eli Bowman, who's here for the first time, an up-and-comer, and obviously he's had some success, and I want to say hello to him, and obviously we'll try to get him on very soon here. We have a bunch of guys, and he defeated, by the way, I got to give him a plug, because he defeated a man that you have some history with on this platform in TPW, and I'm sure you heard about that. This guy who has the freak math, the psychotic freak, and he beat him. He beat him a few weeks ago. I mean, I'm sure from afar, you were certainly paying attention very closely to what happened there.
Sure. Let's just put it like this. Eli Bowman beating the freak is like if you were to take an AAU basketball team and put them up against the 2016-2017 Golden State Warriors. Let's just say that and keep it at that. And keep it at that.
He beat Killshot. A man you've been on here on this platform, but we did beat Killshot.
That's a little more impressive in my opinion. That is a little more impressive in my opinion, but I know that memory doesn't fade too quickly. I know everyone knows that I don't think too highly of Mr. Freak Math, and that is because every time his Freak Math has ever crossed my path, it just so happens he got those answers on that test wrong. He just so happens that he failed that class, and that class was getting his ass whooped embarrassingly publicly by the one and the only, the king of all wrestling, Comatose.
Well, you certainly are a king, and there's no question you are the king of the West. But since you've talked about a number of different things, and I think I obviously have to ask you this question. I think I'm obviously going to get an answer. You must have some New Year's resolutions then, huh?
Oh, I've got some New Year's resolutions like you wouldn't even believe. You see, there's a little video that's gonna come out very, very soon for my return of TPW. I haven't told anyone on the roster about it whatsoever, except for, of course, a select few that are very close to me. And I'm airing out the dirty laundry. I am what you're gonna say, gonna put down the rapture upon the sinners that have been doing nothing but sinning and absolutely disrespecting my family in TPW. Now,
Mm.
if I have to resurrect the heartbeat of the Enterprise single-handedly, so be it.
So I obviously know you've been paying attention to what's been going on in the family, and Eli did want to say that comparing me to the 2016-17 Warriors is honestly a compliment. Shows you how highly you think of me. Thank you. And Tommy J's got a question for you. And question for Comatose: if you are so sure you're the GOAT of promo wrestling, why are you so eager to reinvent yourself in the new year? That's a great question. I tell you what, that's an interesting question. Tommy should take over for me, but what is your thoughts on that?
Let me answer this question very simply. What did Michael Jordan do when he came back from retirement?
Well,
He
other than
reinvented
45 on, he did come back.
He reinvented himself. You see, when Michael Jordan came back to the league, he was no longer as athletic as he was. He was no longer as brutally strong as he was. He wasn't going to be able to force his way to the hole like he once was able to. So he had to think more intelligently. He had to be more methodical. He had to be more ruthless in other aspects. And now, I don't know if anyone has noticed, but my confidence is through the roof, and that is for a very, very good reason. If you have been paying attention to my Instagram, you notice it's completely blacked out. And you want to know what that means for all these little newcomers that have all these little shots that they want to keep throwing my way just because they don't know who I am? This was by design. This was so you didn't have anything to study for when you had to face me one-on-one and face the music for yourself. This was for you guys to improve yourself before you had to face what is inevitable and what has always been inevitable for all the biggest names of TPW ever since I have been here. The names like AJ Storm. The names, shoot, like, I'm sorry, Mr. Harrison, but you as well. Any person that has ever crossed my path for a championship in TPW has failed miserably. And that won't stop at Maxwell Mangione. Trust and believe it will not. I will be your next TPW heavyweight champion.
Well, you got some questions. I tell you what, you got some questions here that some of the guys have, and I'm going to give them the opportunity to answer them. Apparently, here, you were the GOAT of promo wrestling with sarcastic emoji. Stop it. And Tommy wants to say, so you admit your abilities like MJ, you've regressed, and are you too much of a coward to give people material? That's what Tommy's thoughts are, and what do you think about them?
As for Tommy, my friend, you're brand new here. You faced, I don't even know who you've really faced. You haven't faced anyone nearly as talented as me. I'll say that for sure. And this man AJ right here is shaking his head for a reason. Tommy, dude.
You know, hold on.
Before-
Comatose, I apologize. Tommy, you know, I had such high hopes for you, and then you turned off your IQ. I went to war with this man, and I am the only person to come as close, like very, very close to beating this man. And yeah, I still did not get the job done. Tommy, much respect to your matches and what you have put out, but you're a little light in the ass to be stepping to somebody like Comatose just yet.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Well, we're going to wind up doing one of these days after the new year, get a bunch of some of the different guys that we haven't got a chance to come on. They want to give everybody an opportunity. So if you're out there, some of the guys like a Tommy J or anybody else, message me on Instagram, hit the sub button. I think we're going to figure a day out and just give a bunch of guys in TPW and in EPW an opportunity to speak, and we'll give everybody like 10 or 15 minutes. And hit the sub button for AJ as well while you're here. But Comatose, you've obviously have somebody here that wants to say something to you, and I'm going to share my screen. You may or may not know who this is. It's not the Psychotic Freak, but I'm going to do it. Yeah, it's not the Psychotic Freak. Not him. It's not him, because he did tell me that he was watching.
Before you do this, can I just point this out that whenever Comatose comes on the screen, it's like Michael Jackson at the Super Bowl, and everyone just starts fainting and wanting to get to my feet. Can we just acknowledge that real quick?
Well, I hope that people faint at their feet Thursday, 7:00 Eastern time on Sportswire. By the way, cheap plug before I do it. I got to do it one more time. Cheap plug. If I don't do it, I'm going to certainly, not have the opportunity here, but a cheap plug. I hope people faint at the feet when they do see that we are going to have on the man that was once upon a time the guitarist for the Prince of Darkness, God rest his soul, Mr. Ozzy Osbourne, Mr. Gus G, and hopefully they'll faint there at Gus's feet and they'll tune in. But I don't quite know if people will faint at their feet when we see this person back on here, because for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, you knew it wouldn't be a night without him and your Enterprise comrade.
That's a good surprise. Now that is something that makes me happy.
It wasn't going to be It wasn't going to be RTG.
That's good, because if it was RTG, we would have just had to put on a highlight classic again, I guess.
Dario Divine, Happy New Year. This is the last, looks to be the last official live show of the year, and who better to bring it in but you, champ, and it's good to see you. And I know you had heard from afar that Comatose is on the screen. I know you wanted to say a few words to your old friend.
It's great to see him back, and I'm excited for what the new year brings for all of us here.
Yes. Happy New Year to everybody. Yep.
Yeah, no, of course. And I mean, holding down these tag titles has definitely been quite the task with Jerry around, so I'm glad you're back, trust me. But
I
don't know if you've heard, but we got quite the match ahead of us with one AJ Harrison.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now I'm going to clear up any confusion, because Dario, just as well as I do, I don't make the matches in TPW. And why Rocky has me teaming up with Dre to go for the tag team titles, I'm going to say this right now. Dario, you've heard it, and you know it as well as I do, Comatose. I've been in your ear a little bit too. You know this too. The devil is in the details. You've been away for a while. I know you've been watching. And as a matter of fact, I came to visit you not that long ago, and you and I had a rather private chat. During that chat, I told you that things were changing, and everything that I said was spot on about Jerry. And we won't go too much into detail about that, but you both have locked it down in the tag team division. You guys have ran it completely by yourselves, mind you. And I commend you for that. Now, I can check my ego at the door. I can put that aside. Comatose, you were the better man in our match. And I look forward to our upcoming match, in this tag team match. But that's besides the point. I know you guys both have heard what I have said. You guys are listening to me. You guys hear what I'm saying. But at the same time, I want you guys to know how well you have done, because there are haters out there, and as much as that they're going to hate on you and shit on you and try to get in your ear, there are only very, very few people that you need to stand beside. And I'm telling you right now that the one that you guys are standing beside is not the one. I have sat there and I've told you guys that when he came back out of retirement, because I predicted that, and he came out of retirement.
You did say that here at Sportswire. I do remember it. You said it here almost 2 months ago.
He dropped the ball. I mean,
And
yeah,
Comatose did talk about the family just before. That's an interesting point.
So allow me to ask you both this question. I truly believe that you both are family. But
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
is Jerry family?
Yeah, he's family.
Hold on, Tom. Because I think you both have strayed away from your true family, your true brother in arms.
Oh, I see what you're trying to do, though. I see this. The Don of Combat, Ajay Harrison.
I think Jerry has his own motives. He brought you guys together, which was great.
Good point.
However, he didn't do it because he wanted to see you guys succeed. He did it for himself because he wanted to make sure that he stayed on top.
You want to take this one?
Boy, this is who knew this would be quite a bomb here once again from AJ Harrison and Dario. I'm betting you have the floor.
Well, I have a question because when you think about the hierarchy of that kind of universe, when there's a Don, there's always a Godfather.
Absolutely.
So AJ Harrison, I don't know who's pulling the strings. I don't know who's your Geppetto over there, but listen, Pinocchio, our family is as tight as it's gonna get, and I mean, now that Comatose is back, the three of us have a new agenda. Trust me.
Now, AJ Harrison, I want you to picture this in your head. I want you to picture going into 2026 as these two have not been so hot recently. My brother in arms, Dario Divine, has suffered some very heartbreaking losses.
Talked about them here a couple weeks ago. We put him in the Hall of Fame.
And Jerry Main, as much as I love him, I will say, has not quite performed as well as I was hoping. But I want to ask you this question. Going into this new year, and both of them knowing that, and then on top of them knowing that, me coming back after having to sit on top of the mountain and watch the disrespect and absolute patheticness of what has been happening in TPW outside of the Enterprise, what makes you think that the Enterprise going into 2026 isn't going to be the most unstoppable thing that you have ever seen? I am more hungry than I have ever been at any point in my career, and that's not even just stopping at promo wrestling. That goes to backyard wrestling. When I come back in 2026, you are going to see the peak version of what Comatose absolutely looks like.
Well,
I've called myself.
That. Go ahead.
I have said that. But I've said this long enough. And like I said to you at the beginning of the year, Tom, it's time to reroute back to that one thing. That is that one thing that I am going to take into this new year. And I'm going to magnify it. No more talking. Only actions to prove exactly what I am saying. I am going to prove that everything that I have been saying these last 2 years is 100% facts and has always been 100% facts, and there will be no one that can stand in my way, Dario Divine's way, or Jerry Main's way.
I'm so glad you asked that question, Comatose, because it's not so much the Enterprise that is unstoppable. See, you both have proven to be unstoppable. A team so formidable that nothing and nobody is going to get in your way. I don't doubt you guys' skill. However, going into 2026 is going to be your guys' year. And I know, as well as you guys know, because you guys, I think, maybe nobody else realizes that you guys see the bigger picture. And when it's completed, that is going to make the biggest difference in 2026. You guys are going to shine and be the biggest stars. Period. However, I don't necessarily think that is going to be what everybody imagines right now. There's going to be a slight change. A slight change. The true family will come together in 2026. And when it does, wrestling as a whole will fear.
They've got a family. They've got a family. And it's going to lead them with Comatose back. Comatose being back. This is what they've been missing. This last month, this has certainly been the reasons why we've seen this back and forth and these struggles. And we know it's well documented what Dario has gone through of late. But now with Comatose back going into 2026, and we know with Enterprise Promo Wrestling, the way it is today, the family's ready. The family's going to go and explode like a rocket ship. It's going to take off like we've never seen before.
It's funny because the only reason 2025 wasn't the year of the Enterprise is because we were only around for 5 months. To think that all we did is it only took us 5 months to accomplish what we did.
And you being a world champion as quick as you are, I mean, rookie of the year, I mean, you might be, promo artist of the decade in terms of what you've done in a short amount of time. Guys in their careers haven't done what you did in a short amount of time. Comatose.
When you look at some of the TPW Hall of Famers amongst yourself now, the newest inductee, I mean,
I wouldn't, don't put me in there, but yeah, I got you.
You could go through the rap sheet, and I mean, everything stacks up. And when I win this Change of Fortune championship, that's just another notch in my belt and just another reason why I'm already a Hall of Famer amongst my brother Comatose.
Well, that is certainly true. That is true.
And not only just that, but as my first match back coming into TPW, it's going to be me and AJ Storm one more time.
The Cancer AJ Storm?
And it's not
what these guys went through, what you've went through in the past.
And it's not just going to be me and AJ Storm one more time. AJ Storm, he's coming after my undefeated streak here in TPW because I am undefeated.
The ultimate heel AJ Storm.
The ultimate heel AJ Storm. But here's the thing that he has said in the locker room, but he had not made public. So here I'm going to make it public. It is streak versus career.
Whoa! No! Wait! Are you meaning to tell us your streak against the AJ Storm, the Cancer AJ Storm? I have seen this man on here, on this platform, virtually end guys' promo wrestling's career. Think about a guy with a first name Z, starts with last name C. You can fill in the blanks who I'm talking about. I have seen this man on this platform. I have seen him in promo wrestling companies end people's careers, let alone streaks. But yet you say here tonight in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform where to kick off 2026, the man that was the guitarist, the front person for the Prince of Darkness for 7 years, Mr. Ozzy Osbourne, Gus G, that you're saying that you're putting up your streak in TPW against the career of the Cancer, the ultimate heel, AJ Storm.
That is exactly what I'm saying. And that's not even just the end of it. You see, that's just the cake. And here's the frosting, Tom. One of those things is going out in a goddamn ambulance because it's an ambulance match for the streak versus career. And by God, AJ, as the person that is sitting across this table from Tom right now, you know very well who I am because you brought me into promo wrestling. And let me tell you right now, bud, I have become your greatest success. And now I will be your worst nightmare for the rest of your life.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a match that could headline the biggest events in all of wrestling. You think about AJ Storm, a man that is right up there. When you think about promo wrestling history with those names such as Anthony Steele, AJ Harrison, you've got Devin Adams. He's right up there. People talk about those names, and AJ Storm is side by side with them, ladies and gentlemen. AJ Storm is a man I have seen on this platform basically end individuals' promo wrestling careers. He is a man that is not one to be taken lightly with. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we hear Comatose's return to TPW. It's going to be an ambulance match where Comatose's streak could go out on a stretcher, but yet could the Cancer, AJ Storm's career in TPW go out in a stretcher? And the irony of that, ladies and gentlemen, a Cancer, those who are on a deathbed, where do they end up? In a hospital. And that could be AJ Storm's career. Oh, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, Comatose is back on Sportswire, and he's back, and he's departing 2025, but he's coming in like a lion, like a goat. You might even want to say into 2026. And this is a reason why, ladies and gentlemen, you need to follow TPW on Instagram and find out, because I can't wait to see the rebuttal from the one and only Ultimate Heel, AJ Storm. And even Mama Comatose is here randomly, and who knows what she thinks about that. I don't know if there'll be hearts, but black hearts maybe. But boy, if you didn't think Comatose was back, guess what? He's back now.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And I didn't just say that for no reason. I said this for you to pay attention there, Mr. AJ Harrison, because it's not about what if or how I'm going to get this done. It's going to be when I get this done. And when I get this done, Mr. AJ, what do you think that's going to do for the morale of the Enterprise? Ending the Cancer once and for all. And then not only that, my brother in arms, bringing the Change of Fortune Championship back to the Enterprise where it belongs. What do you think? What type of poker chip do you think that you have behind your ear that is going to make you have this deal in your hand that's going to end this Enterprise relationship that has been going on for so long, for so strong? And what makes you think it's not going to be even stronger with victories like that heading into the new year?
And you know what, Comatose? It's only going to grow because, Tom, my last appearance here, I said I had put pen to paper. And
Yes.
I had an announcement to make. And the Loverboy World Tour was growing and was expanding. And, Comatose, I actually saw your name pop up in this locker room. I don't even know if you know I was in there because I've stayed pretty quiet. But, he mentioned this company earlier. He said he's going to kick the door down and walk his way back in and take what he wants. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Because, Tom, I've also put pen to paper with OPW.
What, OPW? You mean that your OPW, run by the Unforgiven Soul Hunter and the one and only Tommy Titus, the birthday boy?
You know, it's sickening to hear that, oh, the Tag Team Gods are nominated for this. And
They were
where's the
for a lot
Enterprise?
of awards.
You know, this is what it comes down to. We ran promo wrestling, whether they liked it or not. And after, if they weren't holding a title, we took it from them. And the only reason we didn't go walking into OPW is because that place isn't really what we wanted at the time. We didn't need it at the time.
Yeah, I was under the impression that's a forbidden door. That's what I was under the impression. We've had Hunter and Tommy on here of late.
Yeah.
And how are those tag Dario, remind me, because I've been gone so long, right? How are those tag team gods doing in TPW?
You mean
Oh
the
wait,
same ones that split up when we defended our titles that we won against them?
oh yeah, I forgot they don't exist anymore in TPW because of us.
And then what
Yeah.
happened? Because isn't that the same AJ Storm that didn't lose a tag team match in TPW and then lost to us twice?
Ah,
Never
yeah,
lost a
that's what
singles
happened.
match.
And you also beat AJ Storm recently.
Yeah, he hadn't lost a singles match, and then Comatose beat him twice, and I beat him. Those are his
Yeah,
only
probably so.
singles
We spoke
losses.
about that here last episode you were here for.
Those are his only singles losses, and I mean, it seems like those are his only tag losses as well. So it looks like the Enterprise are the only thorn in his side, and Comatose just gets to be the final nail in his coffin.
Oh, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, before we move on here and get to final thoughts, I mean, you want to talk about announcements here. That announcement that I think people are still going to be talking about, especially in the TPW locker room, of Comatose returning, but it's streak versus career in an ambulance match. And that could be Comatose's streak on a stretcher or the career of one AJ Storms. And we know he's the cancer AJ Storm. We know what happens with those who have cancer. They have to go out in a stretcher and go to the hospital. And that could very well be AJ Storm. But conversely, I mean, AJ Storm, has been mentioned a couple of tough losses. And now also the other announcement is that you're going to see Dario Divine also alongside Comatose and OPW. And that's getting people fired up here. And speaking of people you referred to, Maxwell Mangione is still your champion. I'm going to make the announcement. Speaking of announcement, next Saturday night, I want to make this announcement because I've decided to. We have a lot of TPW guys that haven't gotten an opportunity to come on here. So next Saturday night, 8:00 Eastern time on all Sportswire platforms, we're going to let it be open. You're a TPW guy. You haven't been on Sportswire. You can come on here, speak 10, 15, 20 minutes, and you'll talk about what you're up to. You'll talk about your match. You'll talk about those things. So if you are a Maxwell Mangione, if you are a Tommy J, if you are, yes, a Jaleel Firebolt, if whoever you are, and you haven't been here in a minute, you come on down next Saturday, 8:00, and you'll get that opportunity to speak about your match or whatever else. And that would include, I would hope, one Maxwell Mangione. We get to see him finally on Sportswire and some of the others. And he does have a few things to say about you, Comatose. And I hope if we see the champion next Saturday here on Sportswire, he'll elaborate more on those.
Oh yeah, I hope he does too. And no one's ducking you, Mangione. You see, first of all, you got to worry about your court case for shooting the head of Big Pharma. You got to worry about that first. And then second of all, you're shooting yourself in the foot once again. You don't know how to aim a gun very well. Because I'm not ducking you. By all means, you're second on the list. I just have to get an old thorn out of my side that has been bothering my sock for so long that I can't take it anymore. I want him out of promo wrestling, period. And then trust and believe, once I make history by ending the person that has ended multiple people's careers, I will take your belt. And then you will be the next AJ Storm.
I tell you what, this is getting real interesting tonight. And we're certainly going out. Definitely, we're departing 2025, but going in like a lion in 2026. And speaking to people that Comatose very well, a man you interviewed once upon a time, the one and only Chase Wakefield, and Mr. Wakefield and I were speaking earlier today, and we get to see him here on the screen, and we'll see him, I'm sure, one day here in 2026. And obviously, Mama Comatose is out there, and very exciting times here ahead in 2026. And before we move on to some final thoughts, AJ Harrison, this was your episode tonight, but it seems like you've been hijacked and certainly by Enterprise members. But you're smiling, sir. I wonder why. Before final thoughts,
I'll tell you why I'm smiling, Tom. Because
why?
This was not a hijacking, so to speak. This was not by accident.
Not by accident, I see.
Morale.
I asked Comatose to come on tonight.
But you're not Enterprise. That don't make sense. I'm confused.
Again, Tom, it may not make sense now.
Yeah.
But within time, the bigger picture will be revealed.
Yeah.
All
The
will
bigger
make-
and the bigger picture being that some people have humiliation fetishes, but go on.
Well, it is 2025, and yes, there are things out there. Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
I'll say this. There is a reason that the Chancellor, AJ Storm, will be removed from TPW at the hands of Comatose. There is a reason that when I took this championship, I said that I was going to make for a better TPW, and I was going to make TPW great again. On the surface, they don't seem like they're related. But again, Comatose had also stated at the end of my first run in TPW that I was
Yes, we talked about that here.
Yep, that I was delusional, and again, a master, an artist, a master artist, never reveals his work until it's completed. The details are being drawn. Everything is shaping up very nicely, and when it's completed, that's when it will be revealed, and that's when wrestling as a whole will be turned upside down and be pulled inside out.
Yeah. Well, you said you sure about that? Now there's a fellow that I would like to bring up, and you all have some history with him, and he wanted to say, "What about that deranged chef?" Now, I want to remind you fellas that he has said send him the link, and I do want to point out that his wish is my command, and I sent him that link on his Instagram page, and I also want to extend it to now any TPW roster member next Saturday at 8:00. That's it. We're talking TPW. There's no anybody else. There's just TPW, EPW. I'll give you a bone, EPW. But really, if you're a TPW roster member, EPW roster member, that's what I'm talking about. Next Wednesday. That's it. That's the show. So you get 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15, whatever it is. You haven't been here. You've been here. That's the plan. But speaking of plans, a man that is on top, and he said send him the link, and I sent him the link. And if he wants to show up here, he can do that. And I mean, we can see him, and he can also be here next Saturday also, because we got to see more of you in TPW. It's your opportunity and your time, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing.
About Elias. He's got so much already to worry about. He's got to worry about Dario, who's going to take that championship. All right, and then his family member, Big Unk.
Yes.
All right, he's another one that whole family is so deranged. All right, you got Big Unk. You got Big
what a
Unk.
pun intended there. Dun.
Well, you got Big Unk who's running around where and the video will come out shortly, right? But you got Big Unk who's running around with a white man's toe, because I took his big toe when he was in the hospital. I took his big toe.
You did. It's a good point. I touche.
Yep. And when I did, he could not find a matching toe, so he had to take a white man's toe.
Toe to toe. Listen, I mean toe to toe.
So
it was the big toe. That's the balance toe. He needed it,
Listen,
Yep.
toe to toe. I mean, listen, it's 2025.
Elias has already got so many family issues that he's not going to be able to hold on to that championship. And when he loses it to Dario, he's going to fall into obscurity with the rest of his family.
Well, you know what? He may have a different opinion. I'm going to give him that opportunity here, because the champ is entitled to speak, and he gets that opportunity.
The medication, that's what he's entitled to.
No, champ, you have the floor. It's been way too long, and the floor is yours.
How's Big Hunk doing, huh?
Oh, Big Honk is doing well, ready to kick your ass in the Outlaw tournament coming up. What's up? I am very happy to be here. Of course, none of the rest of these people on this here video chat deserves to see Elias and deserves to see this prestigious TPW champion. But
Okay,
still
so
in
go
all,
away.
I'm a man of the people, a real man of the people, unlike AJ over there. So I definitely want to come and address my constituents.
Go ahead,
Hi,
champ. You have the
Comatose.
opportunity.
Hold on, I didn't hear that.
You have the opportunity, champ. The floor is yours.
Well, here I am. I am the person who is bringing prestige. Yes, plastic, cardboard, leather, all into this belt. But can't nobody say that they went toe to toe with a WWE hardcore legend. Can't nobody say they got an endorsement by another WWE legend. Nobody in this game has ever done it like Elias, will never be like Elias, and no matter how hard they try, they will never amount to the greatness that is Elias.
And also interviewed the man that was a part of the first match in ECW history.
Yes, yes. Man, shout out to Chubby Dudley for sure, man. That was a
Yeah.
big.
You did a way better job than I could have ever done with him. That's why he went with you, because he knew that you were a champion. He knew the resume that you have, and you have that. And these guys don't have that.
Hey,
No, but you know what else we don't have, Tom? I'm going to tell you something. We don't have we don't have a family member running around with a white man's toe. Obviously, Elias, let me tell you something. You said that you couldn't hear Tom, so allow me to make this recommendation for you.
chill out.
Obviously, your hearing is gone, so why don't you go and take a white man's ear? Maybe you'll be able to hear better.
That
tell you
was
what.
what Mike Tyson
Take
tried
a
to do
page
with
out
Evander
of your
Holyfield.
uncle's
Stop.
book. Take a
Well,
page out of your uncle's book
Stop
and
plugging.
take a white man's body part. Maybe
Well, let me
it'll
tell you
it'll look
something.
good.
Since you want to go that route,
What is going on?
AJ Harris having a white man's toe on this lovely melanated feet of mine just makes me want to train even harder, get through my rehab, bring my leather belt to the ring, and proceed to whoop your red, white, and blue
You
ass.
can't even speak, right? So go get yourself some white man lips because it's Harrison, not Harris.
Am I
You don't know
watching
who I am,
Split
huh?
right now? Am I
I am the
watching
uncle.
Split?
It's worse than Travis Black.
Am I
Hold-
watching Split? I just watched Split live action, I swear.
And Tommy J wants to point out, what about a racially ambiguous ear? We really are going into 2026, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
To each their own. But I mean, I'm not a deranged family that needs medication. I've tried to give them the help that they need, and they just won't take it.
well, see,
And
this
I
is
think
the
the only prestige being added to that title is upgrading from cardboard to a 3D printer. I don't know if it's
Fuck you. Fuck you, Dario. Fuck you.
and then
Look,
the one
I
thing you
done
said is
parented,
we
man.
don't have that. No, you're correct. We don't have a 12-year-old nephew that just does our arts and crafts projects and we call it our TPW championship.
I think AI does that work still, right? I think AI can do that.
It might be able to do it.
AI can do a lot of things. I think I just saw AI.
And you know, Champ, I
I just
also
saw
want to let
AI
you
do some
know,
things
Let
there.
me explain
and I
something
want to
to
let
you.
you know, Champ, that next Saturday, and I want you to be here if you have the opportunity. Also, next Saturday, 8 p.m., it's open to anybody in TPW. And I can't have a show without the champion. You got to, I hope you'll be. We'll be running throughout the evening. That's it. Only talking TPW. The EPW, I'll throw a bone in there. But I hope to be here also next Saturday with, because we can't have a show without you.
The champ will be honored, man. The champ only graced his presence one time on here once before, and I
Because
didn't
some
really
guy
get
that's no
hurt.
longer a pro wrestler, some guy that people talk about, and there can't be no other way though for you to be back again next Saturday.
Yeah,
Well,
with the
hopefully-
championship belt. I just want to say something before I get out of character for a second, and I just want to talk to the former champ, Mr. Dario, as he talk about my arts and crafts championship belt. And I'm gonna say this one more time. Has your championship belt touched the shoulder of Titans? I don't think so. But this arts and crafts championship belt, this 3D plastic with the nice metallic spray on there, Yes, I'm gonna show you my screen. Hold on, let me show you.
Oh, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen,
Wait, what?
Jonathan took off the glasses. He's taking off the glasses.
Well, I know three legends that's actually graced the shoulder of, and they go by me, myself, and I.
That was a De La Soul song, by the way. Just want to point that out. That was a De La Soul song.
I just want you to kiss the ground because you know the history. You know I predate promo wrestling altogether. The records have shown it, and I have the receipts. You should thank God, your beautiful, beautiful promo God in heaven, that you are even allowed to be in the same breathing space, let alone the same mentioning in the sentence with Elias the Deranged.
Ooh.
Good to see you back, Comatose, by the way.
It
Thank
seems
you.
like,
Appreciate
you know what,
that.
since
I know me and you got a battle down the line, and I can't wait.
Oh, I
yeah.
tell you what, I am very excited for next Saturday's show.
Pay attention to Instagram. Pay attention. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, we're paying attention, and James Taylor will be on here at some point soon. I spoke to James Taylor, so everything's well there. And also, there is Maxwell, future tag team champions. As I stated, Elias, that we'd love to see Maxwell next Saturday as well. We want to open it up to everybody, and we'll probably see some of the usuals here, but we want to give everybody a chance to talk, and I would love to see Maxwell and you and him, and I know that's not music to the ears of Dario and Comatose, but there can't be no other way, and we hope that will.
There will be no other way. It's only this way.
No.
In order to even tap into greatness, you got to come through the champs, baby.
That's why we're excited about the future. And by the way, I got to plug TPW, because if you are out there on Instagram, and I'm not sure why you haven't yet followed TPW, but I really think you should regardless, and tell like 10 of your friends and 10 of their other friends. Make sure you do that right now on Instagram, because TPW is closing in on 1,500 followers. They just hit 1,000 followers, and those numbers will keep going up. So eventually you'll follow, and their friends will follow, and that's TPW's page. Check them out, and you can check these guys out there, and also you'll see them here next Saturday night. They'll be from 8 o'clock on. You'll see a bunch of promo artists, and we'll see these names on here once again. So I'm excited about that. Anything else you guys want to say here before we get to some final words?
Lord Tom, I just want to say this. I was not by any means going to tune in next week for the whole open TPW thing. However,
why not?
Well,
you're the United Nations champion. What do you mean?
I am. However, busy schedule.
Too busy scheming.
Busy man. Yeah.
Come on, man of the people.
But you know what, though? I will say I have to make room, because you have invited the Michael Jackson of TPW, Big Unk and Elias, to walk in. Big Unk with his white man's toe being, Michael Jackson wannabe. I think it's going to be interesting to tune in and see what Big Unk has to say.
Dude, I'm trying to stay in character.
I can't believe this stream hasn't gotten shut down yet. Holy crap.
So I think things have gotten interesting. I think I might tune in to see what's said.
Oh, stop it. Hopefully, you will tune in.
He will.
I'll tell you what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that when Big Unk shows up, I'm hoping to get a little hee out of him.
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
You have to find out. I mean, the only way you'll know is by tuning in. I mean, you'll have to find out.
On behalf of Big Unk, AJ, if he gotta hop in with 8 good toes, he gonna put 1 good foot up your behind, and that's a Big Unk guarantee. Get down to lay down.
Wait a minute. One good foot. So does 1 foot only have 3 toes? Wait, what's going on here? If you only got 8 toes, and one of them's a good foot.
Bro.
He lost the others that I didn't know about.
There's some freak math right here.
There we go.
Well, that's a different episode. That's a different episode. Different character, different episode. I mean, that's one thing. And yeah, this is fun. Follow TPW and yes, please follow him. As a reminder, you'll see Tommy. He'll be here, and we'll kick it off around 8 o'clock. We'll let Tommy speak for 10 minutes, and then we'll let other people, especially the champion of Maxwell, we expect them to be in the main event. And I'm sure some of these suspects you just saw on this screen throughout the hour will be on as well. And we look forward to
Oh.
that. So we'll honor TPW that day and all you guys. And maybe, you know what, I'm even going to go out there further. You know, champ, since we have only had you now twice, I actually want to do something for you for a change. Since you've obviously come here, obviously being endorsed by the legendary Mick Foley, interviewing the first ever person to be in an ECW match, Chubby Dudley. When you come on here next Saturday night, I'm going to put you in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to put you in the Sportswire Hall of Fame because I mean, it's a travesty that you're not in this Hall of Fame. So now that you're here tonight, you'll be back here next Saturday. When you were so honored to be in your presence, I'll make sure that you get to be in the Hall of Fame. I know you're in the TPW Hall of Fame with us here in TPW for all the roster members, but I'm going to make sure, champ, that we correct that wrong and bring you back next Saturday and put you in the Sportswire Hall of Fame.
Lord Tom, where's the justice in this? I'm over here.
He's going to the Hall of Fame. I just said that's the justice.
No,
AJ.
that's not the justice.
I got no problem with it.
Justice
I've got a lot of
heard in my entire life.
Now, Rev is an honorable man, and the Rev knows how to show respect. Why are you the only person over here having a tantrum like the 2-year-old?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, listen, you know, you're the God of Combat. You're the Chancellor, AJ Harrison.
Yeah.
But I just said we're going to fix the wrong. And then you
The
said,
wrong is putting him in here. You are making the Hall of Fame deranged.
The wrong is putting a white toe on my uncle.
You're the United Nations champion. That's what you do. And take it from a man that worked in the New York State Legislature. I worked in the legislature. We are fixing that wrong, good sir. And he's going into the Hall of Fame. That's the plan.
Listen, all right, hold on, Tom. I'll make you a deal, all right? If
No, we don't take payolas are illegal. We're on the radio. That's illegal.
Okay, listen, I'll make you a deal. If Elias goes into the Hall of Fame, then I have to take Big Unc's other big toe and replace it with another white man's toe.
I can't. That would be something that's way.
Why you can't diversify Big Unc's toes, bro? Why can't
it be an Indian toe? Can it be like an Asian toe, like an Indian toe?
Okay, you know
like
what? That's a different show for a different time. You go do that. That used to be Backpage. Go do that somewhere else. We're here in Sportswire. We're in the business of all wrestling matters, all music matters, all sports matters. We're gonna give everybody closing thoughts. I see the wheels are coming off here. Anybody else want to say anything else here before we sign off?
I'm looking forward to facing all of y'all in the not so distant future. As a champion, as always, I'm always ready to put up a fight. And y'all already know. So either way it go, win, lose, or draw, Elias still stands. And y'all know that better than anybody. Hey, Comatose.
Well said,
all right, well, I'll go next since we just got a segue like that. So Santa's definitely been making a list, and he's been checking it twice. And Mr. Elias Derange is about to find out if he's been naughty or nice, definitely on my list. But besides that, I am out very, very, very happy to be back. I am very, very happy that I'm going to be competing with my brother in arms down here, Dario Divine. And I am praying, AJ, that you find your family, because you're trying to take mine, or you're trying to insert yourself in ours, and it's kind of sad to see. You know, I mean, you know, when I was gone, I had a few buddies. We had a what is it, a good night thing that we did. We'd say to each other, I hope you find your father. So I really hope you find your father, because right now it's getting a little sad.
We're really going on the rails here on Sportswire. I can see it right now.
All right, you know, Dario, I'll let you go.
Fathers, boy, we're really going here tonight.
I'll go last, but I'll let you guys finish up, and I'll go last.
That's very gentlemanly like. Wasn't anything, Dario? You know you want to say something.
Oh, Tom, you know I got a mouth that'll just run forever. I mean, Elias, it's going to be a lot sooner than you think. Because regardless of how this Change of Fortune Championship final goes, I don't even need to wait until that, because I still have a rematch clause I can cash in.
Second and then on top of that, if he got the Change of Fortune Championship, man, double whammy.
This tag team title isn't going anywhere. I have the man back that has defended by my side with me every single time, and we never had an issue. And now that he's back, there are no more issues. There's nothing more to be questioned, because 2026, we have a full 365 to become the year of the Enterprise.
And we won't get snubbed by the Colts.
Yeah.
Next year.
The coach
that
is
won't
the least
happen.
of your worries.
No,
Everybody think
you're right. It's just a little disrespectful, you know. It's just a wee bit.
Well, I think when the Cult had members that AJ Storm basically ended their promo wrestling career here on Sportswire, you get the point. But go ahead.
Like I'm gonna end his career.
Yes, AJ.
So,
well, we'll see. Stay tuned.
I will say this. Say what you will. Again, the master is at work, and it's all going to work out just as I had planned since day one. Besides all that, I do got one more question as a final thought. And I want to thank Comatose for this because, I realized that this whole, I need to branch out to diversity. So I think that instead of another white man's toe, I think we're going to go with an Italian toe.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right.
He could make him a soccer player.
A spicy meatball.
And I'm sitting
That's
there
on the
laughing
Italian.
at my uncle get
Spicy
mutilated.
meatball.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to move on for the evening. We're getting toward the witching hour, and it's come early. Obviously, thank you, the Don of Combat, and I agree with Eli. Elias is definitely the man. We're excited to have him back on Sportswire again. We're back here with him and everybody in TPW next Saturday. So if you're here in TPW, you've been here for a little bit or you haven't been here, it's TPW evening. It's the whole evening. It's just TPW. We see the pets are fighting, so we know it's time to get off the show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please support TPW. Follow them on Instagram. Check out these guys on their accounts. AJ Harrison on YouTube, IDMB. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for your support this year. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. We're here on Sportswire Radio. Like, share, and subscribe. God bless everybody. Happy New Year. And we'll see everybody here coming up Thursday, New Year's Day. But until then, God bless everybody. Thank you for your support. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio, Sportswire Radio, with all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. Welcome back to these guys, and we'll see you Thursday night.